Hey there, it's Lisa from lisafabrica.com, and today I want to get really real with you and talk about a really juicy topic, and that is the topic of consistency. So, this is the number one thing, I would say the number one thing that women tell me they're most frustrated with. And I'm not surprised because if you're watching this video or you have somehow ended up in this little sphere of my community, it's because you are a visionary, you're a truth seeker, and you are a woman who knows that you're here for something bigger and you want to make an impact and serve. And so you have some pretty big goals. And along the road to achieving our goals comes struggling with being consistent, taking consistent action. So one of the things that I hear most from you all is that you want to know how to stay consistently motivated and consistently taking action towards your goals. That sometimes you feel like you do this back and forth where you're really on for a while and then you fall off the wagon and then you have to climb back up and get on, and it's this really difficult back and forth. Okay, so I want to just completely blow this whole idea of consistency out of the water. I want to alchemize it, and I want to help you look at it with a fresh perspective. So I'm going to use an example of a client that I was speaking with recently who we came to our session. She's a private client of mine. We came to our one-on-one session, and she was beating herself up so much because she had been doing really well and staying in consistent action towards her goals and had fallen off the wagon for about 2 weeks, was feeling really crappy because of it, and was really beating herself up and, doing all this negative self-talk because she had not been staying consistent in her goals. So the first thing I told her was that the whole consistency thing is a myth. That's right. It is a myth. It is total BS. There is no such thing as this perfect person who is always consistent and is always perfectly following the action towards achieving their goals. There's no such thing. We tend to have this idea that there are these somehow magical people out there who are always perfect and who are doing everything perfectly every day. And if we see people who are successful or we see people who are ahead of us, we think, well, it must be because they're more perfect and they're better than me because they're consistently moving towards their goals. That's not true. I can tell you myself, I am by no means consistent all the time. Some of the great gurus out there that I've met and spoken with, they also are not consistent all the time. So let's just get this whole myth and idea that you have to be perfect and that it's possible to be perfect in your consistency, in your motivation towards what you want. It doesn't exist, so I just want to take that whole burden off of you right now. So that's the first thing. The second thing that I want you to explore is that beating yourself up for falling off the wagon or beating yourself up for not being consistently motivated, maybe sometimes feeling unmotivated, beating yourself up for those things literally does nothing to help you become more consistent. We have this whole thing where our masculine side, everybody has masculine and feminine. And as you know, a lot of what we talk about here is about the feminine way of detoxing your life. Not to put the masculine down, because the masculine is amazing and I love the masculine. But we in this society tend to be over masculinized. And so what that means is that the masculine energy tends to be very aggressive, very forward driving. And if we take a break or we are not consistent one day, or we're like, you know what, I'm really tired, I don't want to do this today, we tend to then, that masculine voice starts to come in and beat us up and tell us, you're not doing enough. It's like the overly masculine voice. It's like the slave driver voice. And so we think that talking to ourselves that way is actually going to make us get more done and get us back on the wagon and make us consistent again. But actually, it makes it worse because your body is programmed for pleasure and for feeling good. If you don't believe me, just look at all the nerve endings on your body. Women alone on their clitoris have 9,000 nerve endings just designed for pleasure, and I think men have around 4,000. So we're clearly built for pleasure, which means that if we want to get consistent and we want to get something done, talking to ourselves in a totally unpleasurable manner is not going to help us do our best. It's actually by inserting more pleasure and speaking to ourselves in a more gentle manner that will actually get things done. So don't waste time building this whole drama, beating yourself up. Beating yourself up is a really great way of distracting yourself from the real core of the matter, and that's my third point. So my third point in staying more consistent or dealing with this whole consistency myth is that I want to encourage you to, instead of getting wrapped up in all this drama of, oh, I'm so terrible, I didn't do what I said I was going to do, or today I didn't drink my green smoothie, or today I didn't work out for 2 hours, whatever it might be. Beating yourself up for that really helps distract you from actually feeling your feelings of the consequences of you not doing that behavior that actually benefits you and makes you feel good in the long run. So the third point is I want you to really, really feel the shittiness of what it feels like to not be doing these things for yourself that actually feel good. So for example, with my client, her eating has sort of gotten off track. She had been eating a green smoothie every day, and now all of a sudden she was eating stuff that didn't make her feel good. She had stopped doing her green smoothie, and she deep down was feeling really crappy. She actually liked having the green smoothie. When we remove the drama of beating herself up for not having her green smoothie every day, or not doing the things for her body and her business that made her feel good every day, and we actually sat with the deep shittiness of what it feels like to not do those things, it really hit home for her that not doing these things every day for herself actually really makes her feel bad. When we really sit in the shit of the consequences of our behavior, we're much more motivated to get out of there right away because it doesn't feel good. So instead of distracting yourself from feeling that by creating drama about how bad you are, you're not bad, you're human, just take a moment, close your eyes, and feel how you feel for not having done that thing that was going to benefit you. Okay, so my fourth point is the most important one, and that is that it's time to embrace the times when you fall off the wagon and the times where you are gloriously inconsistent. And the reason for that is that we never learn more about ourselves than those moments where we completely fall off the wagon. That is so important for you to understand. In order to become more consistent, you have to experience the terrible messiness of your inconsistency. Because in those dark nights of the soul, where we're totally out of control and inconsistent, we realize so many things about ourselves, and we realize that the consistency is what actually feels good. So it only strengthens your resolve to be more consistent if you really feel those feelings of how it feels to be inconsistent. So embrace the darkness, embrace the inconsistency, because it is your greatest teacher. Okay, so once you've fallen off the wagon, it's great to know all these things, but what do you do? Well, for each woman, it's going to be different. Sometimes falling off the wagon means that what you're doing actually wasn't working for you. So for example, if you created rituals for yourself and they're not working for you anymore, you're going to be less likely to want to do them in the morning. So if you notice yourself being inconsistent, ask yourself, is this really working for me? Maybe it's time to make a change. Now there's lots of different ways to approach this. I happen to be a master at helping women get more consistent and get really in touch with the truth of what they really want to be doing, because that's the heart of the matter. And if you want to learn more about this, I want to invite you to my Discover Your Truth Immersion program. In this program, we're going to take 120 days. We've got 9 group calls, an awesome community of women. And we're going to explore these very topics because these things, like lack of consistency, are types of physical, emotional, and mental toxins that hold you back from building that vision that you want to be building, from building the life that you want to be building. So let's cut all the drama of that toxicity, get on track, and learn the tools that are individual to you, because every woman is different, to help you cut through that crap and move forward when that's what you really want to be doing. So if you're dead serious about finally getting consistent and exploring what it is that you truly, truly want to be working towards, and detoxing all of this drama and this toxicity of your body, mind, and spirit that is holding you back from building your vision, I want to invite you to go to www.discoveryourtruth.com, read about my program. We're going to be going into this very topic during this program and much more. We're going really in depth, and it's really for the woman who wants to make a radical shift and really wants to start moving forward. So if you're really serious about this, I invite you to register. All right, I'll talk to you next week, and have a fabulous week. Bye.